Hello, hello, good
Hello, good
morning,
morning.
good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to this live stream webinar from Binance Academy. I'm Nina Xiang, part of the Academy team, and we have Mahmoud with us today. Hello, Mahmoud.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing great. I think I hear a little bit echo, not sure whether the sound is okay, but anyway, hope everyone, if you're watching this webinar, please let us know where you're watching from. And we're so excited to have you today. But we are actually coinciding with the Fed FOMC meeting news conference today. It's going to happen at 2:30. So if you do leave us at 2:30 to tune in for that Fed meeting press conference, you're forgiven. But let's enjoy the first 30 minutes. Mahmoud, we're going to talk about Web3 and Metaverse today. And wait, I forgot about saying hello in a different language. Okay, sorry. Let's do that part. I said every time we're going to do hello in a different language. Last time we had someone from Senegal. So today I'm going to say hello in Senegal, which is Salam Alaikum. Yeah. So that's terrible, but just want to say hello in Senegal language to all of our users there and elsewhere. So let's put on the slides and start today's talk. And maybe Mahmoud, you can go ahead and do a brief overall introduction of today's webinar.
Exactly. Also, like from my side, salam alaikum. Like I'm half Arabic, so that's why the pronunciation is like mostly perfect, right?
Wait, what did you say?
Salam alaikum. It's basically the same thing that you said. Yeah, I'm just like a native speaker in Arabic. Exactly.
Ooh,
so yeah,
impressive.
Today is going to be about Web3 and the Metaverse. I'm pretty sure you have heard about these buzzwords. So I will introduce you quickly to Web3, and then I would hand over to Nina, and she's going to make the connection between Web3 and the Metaverse and define what is the Metaverse, what are the benefits, and maybe we can even draw some attention to how companies can use like various marketing tools in the Metaverse. This is, for instance, what Nike or other companies are actually exploring nowadays. So just for you to understand, like Web3 is a term used to describe the next generation of the World Wide Web, also known as the decentralized web. It is an evolution from the current Web 2 that we have or that we use today, which is characterized by centralized services and platforms that rely on third-party intermediaries to manage and control user data. So this is our first module, a beginner's guide to Web3. Here you can see like a short overview of what we will cover, but let's jump right into it. So to know what Web3 is, we first need to understand what Web 1 and Web 2 is. So Web 1 refers to the first version of web during the early 1990s. So a few people, they created static and primarily text-based web pages for a large group of readers to read. And this, we call it publisher-centric Web 1, can be called read-only web, designed to help people only to find information with little interactivity. So there's no user engagement, and the information they uploaded their own data except through simple text-based chat messages and online forums. So Web 1 is basically characterized by simple static web pages that were primarily used for, again, publishing information. And some of the earliest websites were online directories, company homepages, and even like personal homepages. Here are some examples of Web 1 applications. So Web 1 was based on HTML markup language, for instance, which allowed developers to create static web pages. You have the first web browsers, such as Netscape Navigator, that were developed in Web 1 and allowed users to access and browse the web. And yeah.
So, Mahmoud, Sorry to interrupt, but I feel like it's also necessary to cover Web 0. I think Web 0 exists as well. It is an ancient, paper-based, very rough verification process system that, perhaps before the arrival of the internet. And sometimes we see, especially some of the very traditional banks. So nowadays, they still rely on a lot of paper documents. So I have personal experience recently. I have to deal with a bank for a cross-border, transaction, and it was almost all paper-based for verification. And it's really about you have to basically scan the document. It can be digital. You have to actually send the original paperwork, across countries, across half of the earth to them, because they can only use a paperwork with your, signature signed with certain ink. So I feel like, some part of the banking system are like really Web 0. So let's remember the existence of Web 0 even before Web 1. And you're still going to encounter some part of the Web 0 nowadays, but I think our job here is to really push for Web 3, and then hopefully less and less people in the future have to deal with the pain of Web 0. Sorry for the interruption. Go ahead.
No, thank you very much. Like me personally, I haven't heard about the Web 0, so it's also very new for me, but good, nice to have as well here. So what is Web 2? So we covered Web 1. Web 2 is basically an enhanced version of Web 1. So in 1999, author and web designer Darcy coined Web 2 to distinguish it from, obviously, Web 1 and Web 2. Like, it refers basically to the shift towards a more interactive internet focused on the users, like really to participate and contributing to the web. Again, like Web 1 was just like for information collection, and Web 2 was really to make it more engaged. And that's why we call it read and write web, or another term could be like participatory web. This like platform-centric Web 2 emphasizes UGC, like it stands for user-generated content, in portals such as social media platforms. You have blogs and podcasts, and it also like features improved interactivity as the user experience from the static to more dynamic. You have the short video apps, for example, which gives users like a customized interaction with user-generated content based like on personal interests and algorithmic recommendations. And some of the key features of Web 2 include, as I've mentioned, UGC. You have social networking. So Web 2 platforms, they facilitate social networking, allowing users to connect, to interact with each other through social media platforms, messaging apps, and online communities that we use nowadays. You have cloud computing. So Web 3 relies heavily on cloud computing, which allows us, the users, to store and access data. Then you have mobile devices, also Web 2 platforms that use algorithms and data analysis to personalize user experience, such as recommending content and products based on the user interest and especially on your behavior. So you have social networking sites, again, like Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So you all are aware of these. I don't need to mention them. So this was basically Web 2. Again, it's like a transformed web form to make it more interactive, social, personalized space. And regarding, I don't know, Nina, you have something to add to Web 2 or?
I've seen a quite interesting way of describing Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. So one way, as you say, is read only, read and write, and read, write, and own. But there was a different way, like to sort of like remember them, using a key difference. Like so for Web 2, it's basically people kind of competing for likes. So it's like everyone wants to get your attention. So it's you're trying to compete how many followers and how many likes you got. And Web3 is competing on something else. I can't remember. Let me find that, and then maybe I can share that a little bit later. So but the way we are showing on the slide here, usually the way how people think about Web 1, 2, and 3. And also I like to ask people who are watching the live, like, what is the most important feature or characteristic about Web3 that you are most looking forward to? So, leave some comments and let us know. Well, Mahmoud, go on and explain Web3.
Exactly. So so the term Web3 was coined by Ethereum co-founder Gabe in 2014, just to describe, the decentralized internet based on blockchain technology. And as Web3 is still a nascent iteration of the future web, there are like different opinions on what it should be. So, but generally Web3 is like envisioned as, again, decentralized, open, and places the user at the center. So you can also call it decentralized web, or the web of trust. It's also like another name. So it's more secure and user-centric. It's built obviously on blockchain. It's peer-to-peer networking, which enables users to interact with each other and share data, which is very important, without the need of intermediaries. So that's why we call it read, write, and own web.
Yes.
Sorry.
So we do have someone asking, how does Web3 work? What are the requirements for a newbie in decentralized economy? We're going to answer that. I think we're going to go through how Web3 work, but most importantly, Web3 is built upon the blockchain technology. And if you remember in our blockchain fundamentals course, we covered, why blockchain is special, and for apps that build on blockchain, what kind of special features they have. If you remember that, you know that it's disintermediate, so we don't have a central party who's controlling everything. So it's decentralized, it's permissionless, it's censorship resistant, and it's it has better transparency, more resilient against either hacks or security breaches. So all these features apply to Web3 because their underlying technology is blockchain. So I'm sure, Mahmoud, you're going to cover that more in details.
Exactly. And adding to this, Web3 gives basically users more control over their data and privacy, and enables basically new forms of value creation and exchange through, for instance, tokenization. And I just want to flag some Web3 applications that we have nowadays. For instance, DeFi, you surely know the platforms Uniswap and Aave, which enables basically permissionless financial transactions and services. And you have also like Web3 enabled browsers like Brave and Opera, which prioritize, again, privacy and security. Then you have DAOs and virtual worlds and metaverses like Decentraland, which allows users to own and interact with virtual assets in a decentralized environment.
So we have someone else asking, there's no crypto boxes. Yes, there's no crypto boxes for these educational webinars. This is an opportunity for you to learn about something that's really important for our future and your future. So I think it's another form of investment into your own career development, into your own financial future. So we're not giving crypto boxes in this educational webinars, but please, just stay with us. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot more that's going to end up, worth much, much more than a crypto box. So definitely, keep educating yourself. This is really important if you want to be positioned for the future.
Totally agree with Nina. Yes. So let's move on. So again, here we'll cover the difference between Web 2 and Web 3. Like, again, a core vision of Web 3 is basically to counter the weaknesses of Web 2, which saw a handful of giant tech platforms dominating digital lives globally. So you have the internet tech giants that were able to distribute, censor, and monetize the data and content that everyone else was publishing on the internet. And they often also created some barriers to entry so that other platforms and individuals would not threaten any monopolistic strongholds that might have. So Web3 is envisioned to allow users to move to decentralized platforms with a greater control of their personal data. You will enjoy greater privacy and be rewarded for the data or content that they choose to share. So Web 2 and Web 3 are two different generations of the worldwide web. If we talk, for instance, about decentralization, so Web 2 applications, as I've mentioned before, they are largely centralized, so with data stored on centralized servers, and they are controlled by big tech companies. Web 3 applications, however, they are designed to be more decentralized, so with data stored on distributed networks such as nodes. Then you have, for instance, another major differentiation factor could be interoperability. So Web 2 applications, they are often siloed, and so they don't communicate with each other. On the other hand, you have the Web 3 applications, which are designed basically to be more interoperable, enabling seamless integration across different platforms and networks. And then you have tokenization that I've mentioned before in the beginning. So Web3 applications, they often involve the use of blockchain-based tokens. So these enables like new forms of value exchange and incentivize basically participation in decentralized networks. And yeah, lastly, privacy and security, as I've mentioned before. So Web2 applications, they often require users to surrender personal data to centralized companies. And Web3 applications that prioritize, again, privacy, security, give users more control over their data and especially over their online identity.
So Mahmoud, just to interrupt for to insert a comment from user Paul K, who said outside of Web3, the most common online stuff people do is either payments, gaming, or TV. So if Web3 is able to hack this, adoption will move, although it needs to make their dApps very light and usable, easy to use by anyone regardless of their tech background. So I think it's a good point. You know, right now we do have Web3 in a very, very early stage, and usability is not, you know, as comparable as to Web2 companies for sure. But I think it's, you know, we're still early. I'm sure things will improve massively as we, you know, continue to build more user-friendly products. So I see that as an overall direction that's very, very certain, you know, at least in our eyes. That's what we do every day here as well. So I just want to add a little bit on what Mahmoud was saying about Web 2 versus Web 3. So a little bit background, you know, if you think about back to Web 0, when civilization was paper-based, you know, the 1800s, 1900s, when newspapers initially became popular, where you know, the masses literacy level raised significantly. Everybody can read, a lot more people can read. And when newspaper were first invented, you know, it was a commodity people buy. You know, you pay a pence to buy a piece of newspaper. And then something happened. So a guy who came out who said, I'm going to turn this idea on its head. I'm going to not charge a penny for my newspaper, but I'm going to print all ads on this newspaper. So that was a quite revolutionary idea, you know, when you think about how things evolve later. So that kind of newspaper where it's basically, he turned the readers from the purchase of a product to a commodity he's selling, which is basically people's attention. And this method continues to Web 2. This is what Web 2 companies do. Users are their product. Our attention, our time spent on their platform are their product. So our data, everything is harvested by the Web2 companies as product to sell to advertisers. So Web3 is again trying to basically reverse this trend and say, people are not products. We're not your commodity that you can monetize and take our data and make profits off us. So we're saying we own our own attention. If we are going to have attention spent on certain places, we probably should get a cut of those revenues. So I think the fundamental business model for Web3 is that no longer, a centralized Web2 platform can harvest people's attention and sell, ads on a massive scale, raking in billions of dollars. Web3 are going to say, people control their own data, their own attention. They can monetize their own attention, their time, and their data. So that's the fundamental ideas if you look at the economic side of things. That's it. So I'm sorry. I think we have to control our time a little bit. So please go ahead.
Sure. So let's move on to the Web3 features. So the first thing is obviously interactions. So user can interact, exchange information, and conduct like peer-to-peer financial transactions, becoming like content owners, as like Nina mentioned before, and not just like content users. So instead of read and write, it's at Web3 we say again read, write, and own. Then you have non-fungible tokens like NFTs, and they are thought to be like an early version of a technology that lets users become owners of their data and creations. Blockchain will also like enable permissionless digital identities with the usage of crypto wallets, leading to more inclusive and equitable digital economies. And digital identity in Web3 refers basically to a person's unique and persistent digital identity that they use to interact with various web services and applications in a decentralized and secure way. In contrast to traditional Web2 services, where users typically have to create multiple accounts across various platforms. So Web3 allows for the creation of a universal and portable digital identity that can be used across different applications and platform. So we also like call it self-sovereign identity, which means again that the user has full control over their digital identity, including the ability to manage their own credentials and authenticate themselves across different platforms and applications. Another essential feature of Web3 is what's called the semantic web, which means computers, they can understand and use information just as a human can. So with the help of AI, rules of handling data, and better sensor hardware, the world's information will serve our needs dynamically and intelligently. An example is how AI enables, for instance, drug development and content creation even more efficiently. So in the semantic web, information is structured in a way that allows machines to understand the meaning and relationships between different pieces of data. So a search engine that understands the meaning and relationship between different pieces of data can provide like more accurate and relevant search results to users. So let's move forward. So here we're gonna build the bridge between blockchain and Web3. So how does blockchain fit into Web3? So the open, censorship-resistant, user-owned, trustless Web3 of the future needs new technologies, and blockchain provides an answer to many of these Web3 goals that I've mentioned earlier. Although like blockchain technology is still like in development, they attempt to answer the questions of how to manage a decentralized ecosystem. And built on blockchain technology, many crypto products, they're expected to play critical roles. You have blockchain-based digital identity, crypto wallets, DeFi services, NFTs, and tokenizations are some of the crypto's existing tools that can be really applied toward building the future of Web3 ecosystem. So before we jump into the next module, where Nina will cover the fundamentals of Metaverse, I'll have a quiz or a question for you.
Drum roll, yay.
Yeah. So I'll read again the question like we did in the past. Which of the following statement are correct? Choose all that apply. Web 1 is the read-only web. Web 2 is read-write web. Web 3 is read-write and own web. Web 3 is participatory web. Or is it Web 3 is a virtual web? So again, please write your answer in the comment.
Choose every correct answer, okay? So
Exactly.
all of them. So there are multiple correct answers. These are quite simple. So please let us know what you think the correct answers are. And some people are saying C. That's correct. I think C is correct, but I think there are more that's correct also. So look through all of them, and you have to put in all the correct answers. Is it A, B, C, D, E, or something else? So let's see. A, B, C, A, B, C, and E. D. Someone said D. Someone said E. Hey. Okay. Oh. You wanna review the
Yeah. So it's A, B, and C. So read and only web, as I've mentioned before, is Web 1. Web 2 is read and write web, and C is Web 3 is read, write, and own web.
And also Web 2 is participatory web, not Web 3. Web 3 is not Web 3 is more than participatory web, okay? It's like you're not only participating, you're owning, you're kind of like in control. So it's a higher level, like one level up than participatory, which is Web 2. And then virtual web, we haven't mentioned virtual web so far, like all the web are virtual in my mind. So this is a confusing item for people, to choose. But so E is not correct because as we know, Web 1, 2, and 3, they're all virtual web. So this is definitely not correct answer. We have some people who got it right, A, B, C. Yes, that's
amazing.
Yeah, that's correct. So
all right.
Shall we continue?
Sure, I would hand over to you, Nina, now.
You know what time it is? It's 2:30. It's 2:30. Fred meeting is coming out live right now. But let's go into this topic of Metaverse a little bit, and then we're going to bring you the decision from Fed, maybe. But again, a disclaimer before I go on. This webinar that we host are educational, informational only. We are not here to give you advice, or do not treat anything we say as advice or suggestions or solicitations. Please, these are purely educational webinars for your own benefit because we want to spread the knowledge about Web3, blockchain, and crypto. Okay, so what is a metaverse? We're going to cover this topic in the following 4 modules. What is a metaverse? Okay, so Mahmoud just talked about Web3, and then we're going to talk about metaverse. I think a lot of people do have confusions about Web3 and metaverse. If you do have confusions, please leave the comments like, are you confused? And what are your confusions? Like, do you feel they're the same or they're not the same, and why? So let us know in the comments if you can. So the fun part about doing these webinars is to, interact with people like you who watch the live. So please, we love to read your comments. So, okay, Web3 is not metaverse. So Web3, as Mohammed was explaining, it actually, has more to do about the fundamental business models. It has more to do about the underlying blockchain technology, and then the derivative features from that technology. So we're talking about Web3 from that sense, the fundamental technology, the key features, how users are in control and own their own data and rights and all that. But Metaverse is kind of looking at the internet from a different lens. So it's like it's a completely different way of looking at the web's evolution. So it's looking at how we interact, the way we interact with internet. So initially we interact with internet using text only. I'm old enough to remember text only web, it's only you can read words, you can type, and that's it. And pictures are really hard during the, maybe the 1990s. Images can take, a long time to load on the web. So slowly we had images, pictures added to the web. And then as the internet speeds became faster, images became, more prevalent on the web. And so this evolution continues from text to pictures to images and then to video. And later we're going to, later I think, around 2000, 2010s, and then video became very, very prevalent again, like short videos nowadays, one of the most popular apps. This all goes along with how our fundamental telecommunication technologies progress as well. So we can support all that kind of evolution and progression of the medium that's being exchanged on the internet. But videos, remember, like it was very slow initially in the beginning. We had G3, we had G4, and then we had G5 and then G6. So sometime around G3, G4, it was hard to watch videos because the speed is just too slow. And then now you watch videos, no problem. There's no glitches. But it used to be glitches all the time when you watch videos, and it could take hours for you to download a movie sometimes in the past. But we're moving and surely towards a future where the internet's medium are going to be much more immersive. It's not going to be just videos. You're watching the 2D video. You're going to be actually feel much more, much more kind of like immersed in a virtual environment that's 3D, can sometimes be real time, and it can also even have, other senses being involved. It could be even, if in the future the technology does materialize, then you could have your smell, the sense of smell, sense of touch, and sense of, aside from the sense of vision and sense of hearing, you're going to have other senses participate in that virtual universe and environment. We already have companies who produce this haptic, suits. When you wear those, you can actually feel the touch. So all those are in a very, very initial stage of development, but it's pretty certain that that's a quite guaranteed direction where we're moving towards. So the metaverse basically is this idea that we're going to interact with the internet in a much more immersive way, involving more senses, having 3D, even 4D type of experience. I think a lot of people have already experienced 3D movies, in theaters, and in the future, the metaverse will going to provide even better experience than 3D movies that you watch in theaters. So I think I explained this slide already, but I forgot to move it. So like I was saying before, this is how we explain, how we look at Web3, Web 1, 2, and 3. But the metaverse, the evolution from pictures to images to videos and then to a virtual environment. It's fully immersive, virtual worlds, real-time, three-dimensional, and as I said, could involve a lot more other senses. Evolution of the metaverse. So yes, let's talk about the first time when this term was used ever. That was in the sci-fi novel by Neil Stevensons in 1992. And I read the novel. It's a really great novel. And of course, it's a dystopian novel, okay? It's not like, obviously, if it's sci-fi, most likely it's going to be dystopia. And that is a very dystopian novel. So where we have pretty much, the world was in chaos. And then we have, in the novel, we have this metaverse, which is pretty much as I was describing. It's a virtual world. Everybody can have your virtual presentation in that virtual world. And you go inside and you experience things as if you're in real world. You have a lot of I think I don't think you actually wear haptic suits in the novel, but you do experience them in. You can think about them as like VR, virtual reality, mixed reality kind of device. So it's like fully immersive. Your eyes are covered. The shut eye experience. So basically, you're completely disconnected with your real environment, but fully immersed in a virtual environment. And a lot of things are happening, and then that person wants to install a virus in that metaverse, and therefore kind of like mess up this whole metaverse. And then the good person is fighting the bad person, trying to stop the virus from spreading. So that's pretty much the plot of the novel. And when you think about this novel comes from 1992. A lot of the things in the novel are actually very accurate in predicting how technology went. It predicted something similar to Google Earth. So you have your Google Earth on your phone, you can zoom in, you can see a lot of things down to the, streets and people on the street. So in that novel from, 1992, which is like 30 years ago, it's also pictured, imagine something like Google Earth, but it's 3D. It's a 3D Google Earth that you can zoom in and look at some places on Earth in real time. It's a little bit more advanced than Google Earth, of course, but the idea is the same. Anyway, that's too much about this novel. It's a very fun novel. I recommend everybody to read it. And then, so after we had that term, it's been many years. Nobody really, pays much attention until suddenly, a few years ago, this term became the buzzword of the time. As we know what happened, that big companies want to push the narrative of metaverse and say, this is the future. We want everybody to join us in the metaverse. And I think they forgot to say, join our metaverse, right? So again, this is a Web2 heritage initiative. It's about joining our metaverse, buy our headset, use our platform, and buy things using our money and those kind of things, right? So so after that, we had some kind of different developments in the metaverse world. In the blockchain space, of course, we have blockchain-based metaverse projects that was once quite popular, that attracted global brands and companies joining their metaverse. So there was a mini boom in terms of metaverse projects during the past few years. And I think right now we're in a time where the attention on metaverse are still quite there. People are still betting on the future where this metaverse trend, or using another word, this virtualization of our web experiences are going to continue. It's just going to take longer than I think people initially thought. So metaverse could be anything. So it could be virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, digital twins, or any other form that we haven't seen so far. So I think if you want to use the broadest definition, metaverse can really be a catch-all phrase that covers everything. But there are another group of people who want to use a very narrow definition of metaverse. They say metaverse have to be in real time, have to be, having all these other different features. But there's no consensus right now. I think everybody have a different understanding of what metaverse really is. I think it's still being defined, being invented, being kind of discussed. So just understand this name, this buzzword are being used differently by different people, and we're still trying to figure out how that metaverse future will be like. So Mahmoud, can you can you maybe like check? You can't check the comments, right? So let's check the comments because it's been a while. I want to see what people are saying. Do we have any 5 consecutive online classes? Nina, give a certificate, Nina. That's my job. I love doing this. And you guys watching and leaving comments and interacting with us is the best part. So it's fun. I love doing this. But really, I want to know what's the Fed decision. Can we check the Fed decision, please? Someone, what's happening? Is it 25 basis points or what? Do you have it, Mahmoud? No.
I'm checking, but just a second.
Oh, I think it's still not out yet. Wait.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, let's continue with our with our talk about metaverse. So, that things have
25 basis points.
What?
25 basis points.
Oh, market consensus.
Yeah.
All right, that's a safe play. So, yeah, 25 basis points. I guess that's exactly as most of the people were saying that the Fed will do. I think it's a total mistake, but obviously we have nothing to do. We have how many people, like 6 or 7, very senior citizen. Sorry, not senior citizen, like very experienced bankers and economists who are sitting there and deciding our financial system most important rates. And we have to trust them, and that's a very totally different kind of system that we're building here. We're not building that for sure. We're building a place where we can have everything clearly written in code, and we don't have to fall victim of any human misjudgments and emotions and all that. So anyway, let's continue on the metaverse. So how would the metaverse look? Like I said, it could be virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, digital twins. Each of them are a little bit different. Guys, if you have any questions about what is virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and digital twins, ask us. And what is confusion to you? And also, do you look forward to certain these type of experiences more than others? Please comment and let us know. But basically, virtual reality is shut eye. Okay, so your eyes are closed. Like you're basically disconnected with your real environment. You wear a headset and you're completely in a different virtual environment. Augmented reality, however, is not shut eye. You wear glasses. It could be, think about Google glasses. So that's what you wear. It looks like a normal glasses. You're still seeing everything, your room, your street, but you're adding a layer of digital things on your glasses where you can, maybe blink your eyes and take a video of what you're seeing right now. So that's like adding a digital layer on your real environment. So it's not shut eye. Mixed reality. Now, this is a little bit confusing. I think I always kind of get confused too. Mixed reality is a little bit kind of like you are moving a virtual thing in your real environment. So you're kind of merging your real environment versus a virtual object. So think about when you have some apps, you can place a dinosaur in your room. And then you can, move the dinosaur around, but your dinosaur is actually standing on your table, right? So this is like a mixed reality experience. It's kind of like merging, combining both your real life environment versus a virtual object. So is that clear, everybody? Virtual reality, shut eye experience, okay? Totally virtual, totally immersive. Augmented reality, not shut eye, open your eyes, just see something on the edge of your glasses. And mixed reality is like bringing virtual objects into your real environment. And it could be more, it could be something else. There was this Magic Leap, startups that's developing supposedly super cool mixed reality experiences. It's taken years, but Some of the demo videos looks really cool. Like you can sort of like put the ocean into the corner of your room, and then see like dolphins jumping out of it, like really impressive effects. So those technologies are still developing, and for sure in the future they're going to get better and better. We're going to be able to experience really awesome mixed reality effects. But for now, it's still very early stage, and some of the experiences are not as good. So digital twins. Actually, Mahmoud, I think you have to leave, right?
Yeah, in about 5 minutes. But
okay, we have 5 minutes. I think we're almost done here. So digital twins is a little bit like the idea of the Google Earth in the 1992 Snow Crash novel. So it's like a real-time digital copy of something. It could be a real-time digital copy of our Earth. It could be a real-time digital copy of a factory. So it can be a real-time digital copy of a city. So why do we want to have digital twins? Because think about if you want to do an experiment with how to better control the traffic lights of the city of a city. Okay, if you do an experiment, in real time, like in the real city, if you actually change how traffic lights are set, it's going to be experimental. You might make some mistakes, and it could be very devastating consequences if you make any mistake. So instead, you do that experiment in your digital twin of that real city, and then you first try out different ways, and finally you master your method. You figure out, oh, this is the best way to control our traffic lights. And I've tested for 10 years in my digital twin. It looks like accident rates are really low. Let's move this method into the real city, and we can be sure that it's going to work, and we're not going to make terrible mistakes because we made those mistakes in the digital twin of that city. So this is a very good method for factories, cities, even bigger climate control type of climate management systems. We see it in a lot of sci-fi movies, people in control rooms, and they can actually in real time manage things in the digital twin of a certain place. So that's a very useful like metaverse application. So metaverse and blockchain. We have to say, like, not all metaverse platforms are likely going to be based on blockchain, probably, because we still see Web2 companies. They are trying to still build a metaverse ecosystem on their very centralized infrastructure. So it's very likely there might be metaverse platforms that's not decentralized and not based on blockchain. But of course, we like to see a future where metaverse are built on blockchain and have all those this very, very desirable features of blockchain. But even if a metaverse are built on centralized Web2 platforms, they can still use some of the very good technology from blockchain, like digital money, like cryptocurrencies and blockchain-based wallets and DAOs in incorporating these elements into that centralized metaverse systems to afford some of the really good use cases of blockchain. So hopefully we will, push, and everybody will try to make that happen. It's going to benefit users the most, and that's the best for everyone. So we come to the end. We have a quiz question. What is the metaverse? This is really simple. Choose all that apply. The metaverse is when users consume information in a fully immersive, virtual, real-time, and three-dimensional fashion. B, the metaverse is an internet of experience. I forgot to mention this, but from what I have explained, I think it's pretty clear, whether you think this is correct or not. C, the metaverse is the read, write, and own web. D, blockchain and cryptocurrencies may become essential components of the metaverse. And E, the metaverse can be virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. So choose all that apply. It's a little bit tricky. I think, as long as the statement is correct, they're correct. So please share your answers.
In the meantime, I just wanted to add something, that there are actually, from a business perspective, like several marketing opportunities for companies. So if, like, for instance, brand visibility in the metaverse, you have like more customer engagement, you can create like new experience for clients, such as, I don't know if you've heard about virtual events or again games. So it provides a new revenue stream for companies. And lastly, you have new user insights. So new insights about customers in the metaverse, and companies can basically use data to optimize their marketing campaigns and improve customer engagement. Just to cover this.
Yes, very good. Thank you for that, Mohammed. It's a really great addition point to that. And Paul K was saying they are senior citizens, don't sugarcoat it. All right, you can say that. I think I'll have to be a little bit more diplomatic here. So let's do the big review of the correct answers, A, B, D, and E. Did you get it right? I think this is a very simple question. After all that, what we have explained during this past session. So I think most people got it right. So Mahmoud, I know you have to go, so I won't keep you. You can leave now, and thank you for being here today. I'm just going to linger in 1 or 2 minutes more and see if there's any other questions. If not, we're going to close this, and then remember to stay tuned for our future webinars. And if you have any additional questions, you can ask them now, and we can try to answer them. Let's check the comments.
So we said Salaam alaikum at the beginning. I say now shukran. This means thank you very much. And yeah, see you next time.
How did you learn Arabic?
Yeah, again, like I'm native Arabic speaker. So
yeah, right. I remember now. So cool. All right. So thank you, Mahmoud. We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. See you. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
Bye. So I don't think there's any other questions. I don't see any questions in the comments. I think today is not really a good day because a lot of people have probably been attracted by the Fed meeting. So if no other questions, we'll see you next time.